What up? What it do online from the booth for the Solid World podcast? I am your gracious and often hated host, Saleik
Yeah.
Here with a special guest today, my guy,
What's up?
Montel Smith.
What's up, bro? What's up? What's up?
How you been doing, brother?
Man, I've been solid, man. I've been solid. Keeping my head above water, bro.
Good, bro. Good. We're gonna get straight into the conversation, man, because you just did something huge, in my opinion, for the community of basketball in our community, honestly.
Yes, sir.
So but before I get into that, man, how's life been treating you? How's coaching? How's everything been going?
Man, it's been solid, man. Of course, you have your up days, you have your down days. I'm an educator,
Mm-hmm.
but even before an educator, I'm a father. I'm a husband.
Absolutely.
I wear a lot of different hats. A mentor, coaching, as you mentioned. So it's been good, just being able to take care of my family, be there for them, continue to grow in my faith,
Mm-hmm.
and just be a person there for not only my students, but my players as well. So it's going
Absolutely.
pretty solid, bro.
Absolutely. I can imagine. I won't say coaching has been easy because you've got so much experience in the game. Because I know
Yes, sir.
everything is a challenge.
Yes, sir.
But how has teaching and mentoring been these last couple of years?
Oh man, I just posted something recently about teaching being a noble profession.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily get into it for the money. Um, my experience, I got into it because of coaching, and then I just ended up getting a job as a teacher. It was never my ambition to become a teacher,
Right.
but now that I've been in it for this is my 4th year, um, I realize it's part of my purpose.
Dope.
Part of my purpose being here on Earth, and generally coming up, you've been a hooper. Um, we all have aspirations of going to the NBA.
Absolutely.
If we say we don't, then I think we're lying,
True.
right? But I remember going to a camp that Derek Mullins had. It was at Rose High.
Mm-hmm. You love his camps.
Yeah, fast. When I was a lot younger,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a gentleman there who had played professional basketball, and he said only maybe one of you all may go to the NBA. I never forgot that in my life. And I look back at who was at that camp, and I don't think nobody went.
Yeah.
But people need to know that that's okay, right?
Absolutely.
You have to be able to pivot. Like we pivot in the game, you
Mhm.
have to be able to pivot in life. And I'm learning more each day. That's what I did, and that's what you did. Kudos to you. I mean,
Yeah.
look at what we're doing. If
True.
you didn't pivot, right, we wouldn't be here right now.
That's true.
You get what I'm saying? So not only that, and I'm gonna give you flowers right quick, right? So not only with Solid World, but you're also giving people memories with taking pictures and photos and videos and capturing, you know, graduations, basketball games, football games. That stuff isn't easy.
Not at all.
You get what I'm saying?
Not at all.
You have to sacrifice a lot of time, um, and that's kind of what I'm doing, right? My beautiful wife, Diamond Chevette Smith, she sacrifices a lot of time for me to be able to go to the gym with the guys, to coach. It takes a lot of your time away from your immediate family. But when you're passionate about something and you have somebody, even with you, you have somebody that supports you,
Absolutely.
it means a lot and it keeps you going through those
Absolutely.
tough times. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And we talk about that pivot, which is essential for us because the ball got to stop bouncing one day.
Yes, sir.
Even if we do make it to the league,
Indeed.
the ball still got to stop bouncing.
Indeed.
But that pivot isn't easy,
Right.
which is what you get into, and we'll come back to that because I want to really harp on today's episode that you just dropped the ebook
Yes, sir.
titled Beyond the Buzzer.
Yep.
Love the title.
Thank
Where did inspiration come from?
Oh man, a number of things. Personal experiences. I felt inspired by the Most High to write it. Just watching a lot of kids and people struggle with stuff that they don't necessarily know what it is.
Right.
I didn't know what it was
Right.
until I was able to get out of the game and be able to look back and was like, and doing my own research. I was like, man, I was dealing with anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it turned into depression.
Yeah.
I was dealing with stress.
It gets real.
You get what I'm saying?
It gets real.
Confidence. You know, as a hooper, man, excuse me, your confidence, sometimes it fluctuates. And I'm a fairly confident person. You
Right.
know me.
Right.
You know, I'm a confident person, but there was still a silent killer lurking in the background. A lot of times coming up as a hooper, and that was anxiety. And when I realized that and I started looking at the landscape, I said, you know, I think people need to hear about this, and why not me?
Absolutely, bro. And to be completely honest, I needed to hear it myself.
Wow.
Cause I know what I went through, and
Yeah.
I've told like my close friends what I went through throughout my 4-year
For sure.
journey
For sure.
in college mainly, and but I never looked at it from that point of view.
Indeed.
So when I read your book, I'm like, wow, like this is really what it was for me.
Right.
You know, through ups and downs. Like started out at Brunswick just like you, right?
Yes, sir. Go Dolphins.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Coach Shaw.
Shout out, Shaw. Shout out. Tiger.
Yeah, one of my
Already.
guys. When I first got there, coming out of high school with no offers, showed up to Brunswick's tryout. Coach Shaw didn't know who I was. He asked me what I was doing there. I never forget this day. He was like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Somebody told me to come."
Right.
Did amazing, and he ended up picking me up. But when I got there, I was like the last one to come off the bench.
Wow.
For a while.
Wow.
Completely new to me. Always been a starter. Wow. AAU, high school, before
Indeed.
that. So I had to go to his office one day, and like, yo, coach, how can I get in the lineup?
Right.
How can I even get playing time?
Right.
It's like, hey, we don't got nobody to play defense. If you can do that,
That's Shaw.
you can play.
That's right.
That's when I started playing defense. That's when I got in the lineup, and the next year I was like one of the main guys, if not the main guy on the team. But I say all that to say, I could have lost my confidence, or I could have, lost faith. Could have quit.
Yes.
In that moment of adversity.
Totally.
And I think like just reading your book, you harp on a lot of that about keeping your confidence, battling through the struggles. I know one of the things that you mentioned was striving for perfection. Let me see. You said, quote unquote, striving for perfection at the expense of your own well-being.
Yes.
Can you go in detail about that for me?
Yeah, totally. So you can go so hard where you kind of lose yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You lose yourself mentally. There's been situations in my life where I lost sleep because I wanted to be so good at basketball.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I wanted to prove people wrong. That said I was too short. There's a gentleman that said one day, he said, you won't make it past South Central. Mm-hmm. But I'm from the projects, from Morewood. We think different.
Right.
Whether you're from the west side, south side, any side of Greenville, we just different. But two, that can cause you to kind of go overboard.
True.
And that's what I did. Trey used to have to kick me out of West Greenville. I went in overdrive. But it helped me become a good player, but it also put chains around my mental. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize it. I didn't realize why I became irritable at times. I didn't realize why I would kind of lash out at some people. Why I didn't want to deal with some people, right?
Right.
Because I was so solely focused, singularly focused on basketball. In essence, it became an idol.
Yeah. Yeah.
Striving for perfection.
Yeah.
While it's noble in some respects, you have to be able to have balance.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have balance. I didn't have nobody to teach me balance. So, yeah. So I had to learn it by myself. And striving for perfection, man, it's not attainable. You try your best. You try your best to reach it.
Agree 100%.
But perfection isn't attainable. And then people tend to get down on themselves when they don't reach it, and just a myriad of things. So I hope that answers.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. And I've been there before where I know me personally, I can't speak for nobody else, but basketball was never like a hobby for me because it was kind of placed in my lap. So like when I moved with my dad when I was a kid, first day I moved with him, he dropped me off to South Greenville Gym.
Right.
You gonna play basketball.
Shout out to you.
You gonna play basketball. This what you do now.
Right, right.
Okay. But I guess at the time I grew a love for it, but I always felt like I ain't gonna say pressure into being good,
Mm-hmm.
but it was also, I always felt like it was weight on my back to achieve success in it. So I never really looked at it as like I got love for the game. I looked at it as job.
Right.
This is my job. I got to be good.
Right.
I got to work out today
Early on.
early.
Wow.
I got to work out today to be better.
Right.
I got to score.
Right.
In high school, I got to score 15 points.
Right.
Like that was just my mindset.
Right.
And
right.
bro, kid you not, all throughout college I was thinking that way, and a lot to you not, bro. After my last game in college, it felt like a relief. Like so much pressure was finally off my back. I don't got to wake up early in the morning tomorrow and go work out.
It's a job.
No more obligations.
Right.
You know, but we talk about that pivot, and I will say that once I stopped, I had options to go overseas.
Right. Likewise.
Didn't want to.
Right.
Once I stopped playing basketball, I had no idea what was next.
Right.
No idea. So that pivot ain't easy for a lot of us.
No.
And that's what I wanted to get into too. Like, I'm glad you talk about that in your book, because life is more than basketball.
It's more.
And I would rather kids figure that out early
Yes.
than to wait until they stop hooping
Yes.
to then try to figure out life.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I don't want them to be 30, 40 years old, then trying to figure out, all right, what's next, because the ball ain't bouncing no more.
Ain't bouncing.
What would be your advice to any kids out there, man, who, and you even told me one time, bro, this was my junior year in college, I came home for the summer, and you was like, the smallest thing, you was like, Lee, some league ain't everything, bro. You was like it's more to life. It's more to basketball than just like coming home playing in the summer league and stuff like that. So it's just the little things that always stick with you. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
So what advice would you may have for kids to let them know, like, and not necessarily have a plan B, but have that backup plan just in case. You know what I mean?
Totally. I would say don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's okay to love basketball, but don't let basketball consume you.
Right.
Always have other pastimes that you care about, so that you can put your energy. It really helps you when you play basketball. I take Kobe Bryant for instance. Rest in peace to Mom. You remember he wrote Dear Basketball.
Mm-hmm.
He got an award for it. He was working on that while he was winning championships.
True.
He got with somebody who was a good writer. They helped him. They helped him with the production, with the writing, all the different aspects of it. But he was able to expand his mental capacity, and it helped him with basketball because he didn't just focus on basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure early on he did. I mean, you hear a lot of people talk about stories with him about how he was tough to play with and stuff like that. But he was able to pivot because he was able to do multiple things while he was playing.
Right.
So while you're playing, playing basketball, you learn character, you learn responsibility, you learn teamwork, a lot of different attributes that you would need to use as you transition into a vocational career, trade career, whatever you want to do, right?
Right.
So take those skills that you learn from basketball and apply them to other things in your life. You could become a welder. You could become the next elite with a podcast, with a camera. You could become a teacher. You could become a video producer, right? A lot of different things, right?
Absolutely.
But I would say don't put all your eggs in one basket, and it's okay to do multiple things while you're playing.
Right.
That actually helps anxiety because a number of players deal with that stuff. They don't necessarily always talk about it because like I said, it's a silent killer.
It is, bro. It is. I remember one time during my senior year at Delaware State, I was at my peak, like my first 8 to 10 games, I'm averaging like 18, 19 against the best schools that we played over the whole year.
Yeah.
And the only thing I had in my mind was I have to keep this up. Like if I don't continue to play like this, it's gonna be over for me. So I gotta do whatever I gotta do to keep this up. So I might go have a good game and still go right back in the gym afterwards,
Right.
or the first one in the gym the next morning, just trying to make sure my shot's still going.
Right.
But all of a sudden, I just went on a slump.
Right.
Bad slump, man. My average might have went from 18 all the way down to 13, 12 or
Right.
13.
Right.
And during that time was probably the most depressing / stressful, sad moments of my life because I could not figure it out. You know what I mean? Now I'm in the gym 10 times more.
Right.
To the point where my coach, one of my assistant coaches, shout out to him, Coach Goods, he had to tell me one day, like, yo, Lee, get away from the gym for a couple of days. Don't even come to practice. Don't come work out. For a day or two, just get away from the gym, go home, go to your dorm room, call your daughter, FaceTime her, and just take a break. I'm like, what you mean take a break, bro? Like, my shot is off. I got to find it. He's like, no. Take a break. Just trust me. And I did that, bro, and it was probably one of the best things I did in my career.
Wow.
I came back like I never left, you know what I mean? And but like that slump kind of decreased my chances of getting more offers for the next level. And but I wasn't mad. You know what I mean? I wasn't mad. I just know that it's hard to, when you go in slumps like that, not only in basketball but in life, it's hard to bounce back from it.
Yes.
It's hard to bounce back from it. Saying
Yes.
You got to be mentally strong. I know that's something you talk about a little bit in your book as well.
Totally. And one thing I talk about too, in chapter 3, it talks about tools for triumph.
Yes.
You have, one thing I use is breathing. Right? You have to regulate your breathing. And I get to another thing about communicating with your circle. But I use a 3-3-4 technique, right? Like if you see me sometimes, if you see me playing a game, I'll breathe in for 3 seconds. I'll hold it for 3 seconds, and then I'll release it for 4 seconds, right? It's research that regulating your breathing, right, it helps calm the nervous system.
Really?
Yes. Like if you have an anxiety, like if you're in a shooting slump, right, and you learn how to regulate your breathing prior to a game or even during the game, it can help calm you down. Because in the game, you got to think about it. Leak, I'll be in the game thinking about what other people thinking.
Yeah.
It's not healthy.
Yeah,
man.
not at all. Not at all.
Like we play, I was going back and forth about mentioning it. We playing something, like I tell you, it ain't the end all be all. But you still want to win it.
Absolutely. Right now today.
You get what I'm saying? We lost to y'all, man. We played y'all. Man, like, I'm a confident person. But in the game, I'm thinking about what the people on the sideline from the west side. You get what I'm saying? Thinking. That's not healthy.
Not at all.
So you missing shots that you hit in your sleep. But all that stuff is for a purpose. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Everything that happens to you happens for you. But we don't necessarily realize that.
Right.
When that depression happened, when that slump happened for you, it happened for you.
Absolutely.
Because had it not happened, let's go back and say you don't go in a slump. Let's say your average go up to 23 to 25 points. You might start getting NBA looks. Let's say you go to the league, right? We're not sitting here today.
Right, that's true.
You get what I'm saying?
Everything happened for a reason.
It happens for a reason. It happened to you, but it happened for you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's a good one.
And the other thing that I was going to go back to is communicating that I have in that chapter 3, Tools for Triumph, communicating with your circle. Some people may think differently, but I don't think having a lot of people around you is healthy.
I don't either.
You get what I'm saying?
I don't either.
You got to have some people around you that has a vested interest in you, not just as a player, but as a person, as Saleik the person, right? As Montel the person, whoever watching this or whoever will see this, of them as a person, right? Like I think about people like my cousin Dwight. Shout out to Dwight, man. I got back from Greensboro last night, man. He had to go to work at 4 a.m. He let me pull up, man. He gave me a cut, man.
That's my guy.
Man, he's been in my corner He's been not only my barber, but my cousin, somebody who supports me both mentally. He'll tell me the truth
Mm-hmm.
since I was in high school,
Right.
right? Came to my games, took me to UNC to watch UNC play. Took me a lot of different places, but he always helped encourage me when I was down.
Right.
That's one person. Um, First of all, God Most High. Um, I had to get to the end of myself before I came to Him. I didn't know Him prior to college,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I go off to college, thinking I'm at least go play for Charlotte, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's my thinking.
Right.
Again, if we don't think we're going to the league,
Right.
while we picking up a ball,
Absolutely.
that's everybody's goal. And so I was literally homeless when I left UNCG. I came back home with all my toiletries and everything in my Lincoln Town car,
Mm-hmm.
right? Went to my grandma's house, stayed with my grandma. I was bouncing from house to house, basically homeless, right? People don't think about that stuff like that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I didn't have my own place.
Right.
I wasn't paying rent somewhere. I had to go back living with my family members.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine going from being a high school star at South Central to going to Brunswick. I accomplished stuff there. I
Mm-hmm.
became the all-time assist leader. Playing part-time, by the way. Splitting
True.
minutes with another point
True.
guard. Really good point guard.
I heard
Tavon
about
was
that.
good.
Yeah.
I still probably would have been an all-time assist leader if I had split time, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
He was pretty good, and Coach Shaw was an amazing coach. But, yeah, man. So, yeah, that stuff, man. I just had to learn, Lee, because I I became I was losing myself, and I came to the end of myself when I lost everything like that, going from a real high to a real low. And I found Him, and when I found Him, I found my wife, and when I found my wife, I found my purpose, and my purpose was to serve Him. So everything that I did following that, He just aligned it,
Mm-hmm.
right? He allowed me becoming a teacher. He allowed me becoming a basketball coach, a mentor. Recently, I just started cooking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I ain't just started cooking, but I just started selling
Right.
stuff that I've been cooking for a long time. So just being able to diversify yourself, not putting your eggs in one basket. I was telling you before we came on air, I was dealing with some insomnia
Mm-hmm.
last night, lack of sleep, because I was having anxiety about coming up here today.
Right.
And in my book, I talk about overcoming it, right? But
Mm-hmm.
ing, it's an ongoing thing. Um, you may overcome it for a while, but it still may rear its head.
Oh yeah.
So that's why you have to have tools and principles to be able to help you when those things rear their head. How did I do that this morning when I woke up from insomnia? I prayed with my wife before I came here, right?
Right.
I breathed. I regulated my breathing before I came here, right? And another thing I talk about in there is visualization.
Mm-hmm.
I had to visualize myself being here with you, right? And doing well.
Yeah. That's key. That's key in life in general. Visualization, manifesting,
Totally.
and praying. That's huge.
Yes, sir. Totally.
Another thing you talked about was, I think, cultivating confidence.
Yes. Yes.
That's huge too. Let me ask you this: do you think that a coach can truly take your confidence from you?
um, it depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
Yes, I think a coach can take your
Yeah.
confidence.
I asked you because I felt that way. My first year at Delaware State, junior year, I didn't have the same coach I had my senior year.
Oh wow.
And that was part of the reason why I was able to be so successful my last year, because I was on the whole new coach program, you know what I mean?
Right.
Same school, same team, but just a different atmosphere.
Totally.
But man, my first year, even before that, I go on my visit to Delaware State. Never even heard of Delaware before I got there. So Coach Shaw like, yeah, Delaware State want you to come visit. I'm like, who? You for real?
Right.
All right, well, let's go.
Right.
So I get there, fly there. You know, but he basically selling me dreams. But at the time, I'm not thinking about none of this. Like, yeah, man, you're gonna be the starting two guard. No, I was shooting guard. Now he's a senior, so like the ball gonna be in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, what do I sign? I ain't got no questions. Like, I mean, back in the day, where we come from, Division I scholarships was unheard of.
That's right.
Unheard of.
That's
So
right.
my first, I think I might have had I was supposed to go on a visit to Winston-Salem State. Like, when I got back from that visit, I had just went to Fayetteville State. But I'm like, this is Division I. I don't care what I got to do. Give me the pays on my son.
That's right. That's right.
So junior year starts, and sure enough, I did start my first 2 or 3 games, but that's because all the seniors was in trouble.
Right.
So they couldn't start.
Right.
As soon as they got back, it was over for me.
Wow.
And I will say during the time when they was out, I didn't produce how I should have.
Yes, sir.
And that could be the reason why my playing time decreased.
Right.
But, bro, when I tell you I went from being told that I was going to have the keys to, quote-unquote, starting to getting DNPs.
DNPs.
I mean, DNPs.
Right.
DNPs. Was not playing. And I think that might have been the most depressing moment of my career.
It affects you mentally, man.
Yeah. I'm like, it's no way. And we got walk-overs on the team that might get in before me. I'm on a whole scholarship.
Oh, man, what you talking about?
So I'm like, yo, it's no way that I'm literally not getting in the game at all. Keep in mind, Montel, we losing. So, at that point, now your pride kicking in.
You get what I'm saying?
Bro, you're not going to tell me I can't help the team out right now.
And we losing?
And we losing.
Right.
We not winning at all.
Right.
Sure enough, and I had even called Coach Shaw, like, man, like, can you, like, call some D2s and the CIAA? I'm trying to come back home next year. He like, why? Just because you ain't doing good?
Right.
I'm like, it ain't that. When the coach not rocking with me, like, I'm having to watch my own highlights. Just to remind myself,
to get confidence.
Yes.
Telling you, man.
To get that confidence back.
Yes.
I got to go watch the moves I was making, like, everything.
That I can do this.
Yes.
Right? I've done this. Like,
exactly, bro.
Right.
Fast forward, bro. I kid you not. Our very last home game. Yeah, it was our very last home game. One of our star guys was a senior, and he told the coach, like, man, just play Leak. Like, he got experience. He come from a JUCO just like me. Like, play him.
Right.
He listened to him, put me in early. Kid you not, bro. We won by 18 points. I scored 18 points. Kid you not, he was fired the next morning.
Seriously?
The next morning, bro.
No way.
I promise.
So wow. So if he would have had you out there, y'all chances of winning would have went up.
You feel me? That's in my mind. Like, who knows though?
Right.
Sure, but sure enough, new coach come in next year and I do amazing. But I will say, I at that time I really felt like that particular coach ripped all my confidence from me.
Right.
Like, to the point where I might hope I get another DNP. I don't even want to go in tonight.
You get what I'm saying?
I don't know how I'm gonna do out there.
Man, yeah. So last time I was on your podcast, I mentioned some stuff about UNCG and my time there and my teammates and stuff, and and I kind of regret it in a sense because I'm grateful for the opportunity that I had. Somebody gave me, a kid from Moorwood, 5'8" kid, the opportunity to be able to play Division I basketball. So I wanted to apologize for that. However, my experience was my experience.
Right.
And you don't have to downplay your experience. Now, I will say something that I didn't mention last time. Almost every weekend when I was at UNCG, I was coming back home.
Really?
To go to the Phoenix, to go hang out, to be around. And I regret it, right? Because basketball is a job, especially in college.
Right.
We have to get up in the morning prior to going to class for weightlifting, right? Then you got workouts in the afternoon. You might have practice after that. It's a real job. You got to study.
Absolutely.
But when I went there, yeah, my letters, my recruitment letters, they were kind of what you were saying.
Yeah.
Told me, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. You have to be careful with what you say because you don't want to disrespect people.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, I know what happened.
Right.
I get there, my first year, I do pretty solid. The anxiety was kicking in now that I look back. After a while, my minutes decreased. It's a
Mm-hmm.
long story with that, man. I've been through it. But then going into my senior year, we got another point guard.
Mm-hmm.
Kid was good. He ended. I think he played summer league in the NBA, G League,
Oh, dope.
for a team. I don't think he made it, but he was pretty good. Kyle Randall. Um, but coach even told me prior to my senior year, it's like, we bringing in another guard. If you want to stay, you can stay.
Yeah.
Man, my mind said, I'm like, man, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna beat him out. But when
Yeah.
your mind is preset, right?
Right.
He told me.
Right.
He told me now it's a business.
He gave you the option.
It's a business. It's his job, right? So if he didn't feel like I was meeting the bill, because I didn't, I'm gonna be honest right here, right? I didn't. That kid was in the gym a lot more than anybody, him and this other freshman.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the mind was already made up. And prior to that, my junior year, I didn't do enough to justify him not going out and looking for somebody else.
Right.
Right? And I have to be honest with myself and say, did I put in enough work?
Yep.
And that's what I tell my kids to this day that I work with at South Central or anywhere. Are you working harder than the next man?
Right.
I tell them that I have regrets. There were times that we had sprints and I didn't touch the line. And I still remember that. Like, I could have been up in the gym. I could have asked Coach DeMint for the keys to the gym, but I didn't. Coaches respect that. I'm a coach.
Right.
I didn't realize it at the time. When a kid asks you, hey, coach, can I get in the gym? Oh, man, that means the world. But if you're only doing what's required, that's not enough.
Yeah.
Right? And so he went, I remember Saleik, my senior year. First game of my senior year, because I didn't leave. I stayed.
Right.
I felt like I earned that scholarship.
Right.
I was in the gym. I was in the gym when I was young working, but it kind of tapered off as I got into college and stuff like that. You start feeling yourself and stuff like that. We played against Duke and Cameron. I didn't play.
Oh, I know that hurt.
I take that back. I did play. Playing against John Shire.
Yeah.
And all them boys, Kyle Singler. Shout out to my boy Ben Stywall. He went off that night. But I got in with maybe a minute left. The game was over.
Oh, man.
It's embarrassing.
But see, we live for moments like that. Like, I know leading into the game, you couldn't wait.
I couldn't wait. Man, look, man. Everybody Tell.
Yeah.
We watching the game.
Yeah.
We ready to see you play. We ready to see you go off. I'm like, man, little do y'all know. I probably ain't even gonna get it this game at all. Like, they don't know that.
Right.
But everybody in your family excited. I remember it was on, I think, Fox Sports South. Duke, Coach K and Cameron.
Legendary.
Right? We get there, man. We shooting around, and the crazies, they know my name. They saying my name behind me. I'm like, man, I see this stuff on TV. Like, you try to be serious, but then I shoot and I hit a shot, but then I miss. They be like, you suck.
Yep.
I'm like, hey, this cool, bro. Like, I get to tell my children about this one day. But nah, seriously though, I remember I was guarding Andre Dawkins. He was one of their best shooters I got in the game, and I'm crying. No, you can't look at the TV and see it.
Right.
I'm crying. Like, I'm depressed. That whole season, my whole senior season, right? And again, I'm not blaming this on no coach, nobody, right? But I'm depressed. Like, I can't even focus. I can't even remember plays. Like, I'm out there, man. Like, my anxiety so bad. Like, I can't even focus. I told my mom I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
My stepfather, I remember I had my ball in my passenger seat ready to drive back to Greenville, right? I tell my mom and I'm like, Mom, I feel like my dream being taken from me. I want to quit. My stepfather get on the phone. Shout out to Cliff. He like, nah, you ain't quit. He like, basketball might be taken away from you, but you're going to still get your degree.
Absolutely.
And you're going to still, and Coach Shaw told me on my recruiting visit, he was saying, like, when you leave here, your character is going to be improved. I didn't necessarily know what that meant, but looking back from a fate perspective, I felt like he was prophesying to me.
Yeah.
He was telling me I was going to be a better person through my experience as being a UNCG Spartan. And by the way, I love the Spartans. I love my school. Shout out to UNCG. Grateful for that experience. But I was depressed, Saleik. It was tough. Some people back at home was talking about me like a dog. Like, they saw DMPs beside my name. I didn't average a lot at UNCG. I just didn't.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't. But people don't necessarily know the behind the scenes
They,
of why.
they don't.
You see me hoop.
They don't.
I'm stamped in Greenville.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
I've accomplished a lot of stuff that some people would never accomplish in their basketball career.
Absolutely.
And I say that with all humility. But when you go through stuff like that, it can take you a number of ways. I could have went deeper and deeper into that depression, right? Like I couldn't sleep. Y'all had to run the mile. Y'all had to do the time mile.
Oh yeah.
Man, we had to do the time mile at UNCG.
Oh, yeah.
I had insomnia. I didn't realize what it was. I couldn't sleep. I didn't eat. I didn't eat nothing that night. I didn't eat nothing that morning. We had to get up like 4 or something. So I was basically dehydrated. I ain't had no food. I remember I had some water with a little packet in it, little juice packet or whatever, and I drank a little bit of that. Man, I almost died trying to finish that thing.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? I was going through it, but players, people don't realize players deal with so much.
Yeah.
On a high school level, college level, you have parents and people putting pressures on you from outside, pressures from within yourself, and it causes feelings like anxiety, insomnia, depression, all these different things that it's taboo in the community. People don't like to talk about.
That's true.
And I wanted to help start that conversation with what I've been through in my experience, even if it helps one person. Just the fact that you said that it helps you. Because we're able to, you didn't really realize what it was at the time. Having a conversation like this is cathartic. And when I say that, I mean it's therapeutic.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? Like, therapy is very important, but you can find therapeutic practices by having conversations with people.
That's true.
People that you trust. Not necessarily everybody, because that ain't healthy.
Right.
But people that you trust.
It has to be talked about, because if we just let it sit in our heads, it'll kill us. You know what I mean?
Yes, literally.
Yeah,
that's proven.
It'll kill us, bro. And everything we just said is one thing that I really want kids to know, like especially going from high school to college.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be a complete difference for the athletes. It's gonna be night and day.
Yes,
night and day. You can go from being a star to being a nobody.
Man,
you know what I mean? Real quick.
Everybody good on D1 level.
Everybody.
Man.
Everybody.
Man, look. I had a kid. We had a kid on our team from at UNCG, Sean Spooner. He was a walk-on. I remember there were times, man, Sean played over me.
Yeah.
Sean worked hard though.
Right.
I think he like a rapper or something now. Like that's my boy, man. We were cool. But man, stuff like that mess with you. Like, dang, like
they do.
Walk on playing over me, bro.
I'm telling you, bro. I've been there.
Like what?
I've been there.
What we doing? But again, like everything happens for a reason, man. But to your point, kids just need to know, like it's a different level as you transition from middle school to high school, to college. It's different.
Yeah.
It's a job, and you have to be prepared.
To the words that you have to be prepared. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, it's dog eat dog.
Yeah, mentally and physically, though, you got to be prepared.
That's a fact. We have some workouts and stuff coming up, and weightlifting and all that stuff. Like, you can be a good player, but if people just as good as you and they 10 pounds stronger than you,
and
they bump you, they get you off your spot. It's over for you. You know about it.
And that's one thing about it. Like I might say, yeah, my coach took my confidence when I first got Delaware State, but I couldn't be but so mad because I understood like I wasn't producing. At the end of the day, if you're not producing on that court, you won't be in.
Talk about it.
And in college, you get a very short leash.
That's a fact.
Unless you're the man on the team, you get a very short leash. Yes. So, like you said, you gotta be physically prepared, bro. I couldn't get to the rack. I would drive 1 dribble, 2 dribble. As soon as I get bumped, I'm going this way. I couldn't get to the rack. I'm like, yo, like something gotta give. So at the end of the day, I couldn't be mad. Yeah, I can say he took my confidence from me, but at the same time, I wasn't prepared.
Totally.
You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta do some self-reflecting.
You get what I'm saying? So it's twofold though.
Right.
But because there's still a lane where he took some confidence away, but there's a lane too where you felt like you could have did a little bit more. So I'm in that boat with you. I felt like some of my confidence was taken away, but I felt like I could have did a lot more.
Yep.
So yeah,
exactly.
that's good, bro.
One of the last things I want to talk about, bro, was something you said in the book, quote unquote. Your worth as a person is not determined by your performance on the court.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Because it's like you said, we might be playing and we worried about what everybody else thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And that can translate to real life where
Yes.
we might be doing something in real life and we're worried about what other people on the outside think of it.
Yes.
Especially social media.
Yes.
That'll do it for you right there.
Yes.
So harp on that a little bit.
No. So in this age of social media, like you were saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of voices up there. People can just be sitting at home on their thumbs and just say anything, and not just on the level that we on, like high school. It's also on the pro level. You think about it. One of the best players ever, LeBron James, got a sports psychologist after they played the Dallas Mavericks because so many people were talking down to him, where it affected him mentally. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You look at the Michael Phelps of the world. You look at the Gabby Thomas. You look at who else am I thinking about? You look at all these different athletes, DeMar DeRozan, Kevin Love. Like I was just looking last night, Solomon Thomas that plays football for the New York Jets. All these people that dealt with the mental health aspects and anxiety and stuff of it, like the pressures of it, and people like saying stuff about them. It took them to a dark place.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. And it can do that.
You know what I mean? So you can't, if you place all your value on that, when people say stuff about you, then it'll bring you down.
Right.
You have to realize your self-worth and who you are as a person, as an individual, who the Most High created you to be, isn't just about that sport that you're playing.
Right.
Right? And I can take it further. I'm a teacher, right? Not just as a basketball player, because the stuff that I talk about it from a basketball perspective.
Right.
But those principles not only apply to basketball, but they apply to life. If you're a teacher, if you're a custodian, right? If you're any type of person where you're maintenance person, any vocation, those same principles in that book, in my book, applies and can help, as you go forward. So you can't get yourself so wrapped up in the sport, right? Because if you write all your feelings, your emotions, and everything you are in that, you may lose yourself when you're not playing well. So you got to be able to balance it and know that your purpose far exceeds a ball and a goal and a hoop.
You hit it on the head. One thing that reminds me of, man, is shout out to my brother, Cornell Powell.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Shout out.
Doing great. Got about 2 rings.
Yes, sir.
Great all-time wide receiver from J.H. Rose,
Amazing.
right here in Greenville.
Yes, sir.
Did pretty good in Clemson. Made it to the Kansas City Chiefs. Got some rings. But at the same time, it's still people on the internet or around here in the city that might talk negative. Oh, y'all hyping him up. He don't play. Stuff like that. When it's like, bro, this man gets paid to be in the NFL.
Yes.
On the roster.
Yes.
Practices every day with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
How many people can say they've even made it remotely that far?
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
But yet people still want to throw dirt on his name.
Right.
But because people don't have business of themselves to be able, or they may can have talent, but they don't have the wherewithal or the confidence to be able to follow their dreams like Cornell did.
Absolutely.
Let's take it outside of football. That man just had a camp. He had an annual camp. I don't even think did it cost?
No, not at all. 250 kids.
Did it? It didn't cost.
Didn't cost.
Think about the economic times we're in. It's tough for people, man.
Absolutely.
There's people out here that got jobs that still applying for food stamps, right?
Absolutely.
So they all them kids couldn't pay to go to their camp. But think about that. He got some NFL players in his camp. He got some lawyers that came in his camp. He got some teachers that came in his camp, right? He got some people that's gonna do amazing things because he opened the door for them for free, right?
Yes, sir.
It goes far beyond football, but you gonna always have those people. It's people that's hating on Solid World. It's people that's gonna watch this and be like, well, what they doing up there? Why I couldn't be up there?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But why can't you do it?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So people gonna always talk.
Always.
We just have to realize that those types of people are going to be there. And despite that, despite anxiety, despite how we may be feeling, we still have to go through and do it.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying?
Go back to what you said, bro. You can't, the outside noise, you can't pay no attention to. You just got to stay focused.
Right.
My favorite quote ever that I tell everybody that I actually learned from Coach Shaw's brother.
Jay?
Yeah, that's my guy.
My guy, man.
He told me one time, told us, the whole team, control what you can control.
Yes.
At the end of the day, that's all you can do.
That's right.
Worry about yourself, stay prayed up.
Yes.
Control what you can control, because the things that you can't do nothing about it.
Can't do
it's
nothing
gonna
about
happen regardless. You know what I mean? No matter what you try to do, it's gonna happen.
You're right, Lee.
Stay on your path. Worry about the right things that you want to do.
That's right.
And you'll be good in life.
You'll be good.
I'm telling you, bro.
Be good.
Thank you, man.
Already, bro.
The second episode, even better than the first one. I didn't even think that was possible. Look, the first one we did about 2 hours, and it was amazing.
That's a fact.
So I definitely thank you for
Sure.
for coming back on the pod, bro. Tell people where they can find your ebook at.
Oh yeah, totally. You want to find my ebook? You can go to my Stan store. It's stan.store/tellytel TELLYTEL 247. So again, that's stan.store/tellytel 247. I discounted it for $15. It was initially $20. It's a good read. Again, it applies to basketball, but not just to basketball, but to life in general.
Absolutely.
I do have it. I will have it on Amazon and other platforms soon enough. I've just been real busy lately, but looking forward to people buying it. You can get it for your child. You can get it for a basketball player. You can get it for a pro. Just looking forward to seeing what the Most High does with it, man.
Absolutely.
So,
I recommend all, especially like high school athletes and college athletes, get this book. It will help you out. It helped me out, and I don't even play no more. Definitely get this book. It's a great read. Something we all go through, whether you're playing basketball, football, or just real life in general.
That's right.
And that's why I love it. So,
That's right.
Again, appreciate you, brother. We definitely got to do it again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's a Solid World podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Stay tuned. Solid World.